the Abbasids overthrow the Umayyads, and they move the capital to a brand new city that they've just built on a village. The village is called Baghdad. It's a Persian village, and they move the capital to this city, and they rename it Medinat al-Salam, the city of peace, and they build this amazing fortress system. It's 2-layer fortress system. It's incredible. The city should be impossible to capture. And science and commerce and philosophy pour into the city, art pours into the city, and the city grows really fast and becomes a major city really quickly. But it's in Iraq, which was Persian. Not necessarily ethnically, by the way. There was a huge Arab population in Syria during Roman period and a huge Arab population in Iraq already. What I mean is it was the Persian Empire. But there were also a lot of Persians as well because they were intermingled. Because you got to remember, this is a pre-nationalistic society. It's before people went, oh, my DNA is better than DNA by virtue of my race, right? Or by virtue of my nation. Back then it was, I was born in this city and that makes me better than you. It was city discrimination, which is fun. We have that a little bit. Like whenever a Houstonian walks up to you, you know you frown. Anyway, so this means that the conversation changes because now it's got a Persian orientation because the Abbasids are surrounded by Persian bureaucrats. And those Persian bureaucrats have two agendas. One, to shift the attention of the Arab Empire east, and two, to destroy it. That is their goal. They are going to break this thing. And the reason is because most of the countries that the Arabs conquered adapted and began to speak Arabic, or at least there was a large population slowly starting to speak Arabic. Like Arabic probably didn't become the major language in Egypt until about 900 AD, but there was already a population of people speaking Arabic for commercial purposes and for political purposes by this point. The Persians weren't learning Arabic. They were holding on to their identity and their language. They had converted to Islam, but they weren't going to convert to being Arab. So right, ethnically, Egyptians aren't actually Arab, but culturally and linguistically, they're 100% Arab. I keep running into conversations with people like, well, Egyptians aren't real Arabs. Oh, do they still speak ancient Egyptian? I missed that. I mean, they do. If you go to a Coptic church and listen to the liturgy, they do it in Coptic. Coptic is ancient Egyptian. Ancient Egyptian is as alive in Egypt as Latin is in Italy. You can hear it. It's not dead. It's just mostly dead. Right? And so what it means to be Arab is really more of a linguistic thing than it is an ethnic thing. It's not a DNA thing. It's, do you speak Arabic? Well, the Persians rejected that. They refused. They resisted. And so little by little, they start to pick at the Arab Empire from within, because they're the bureaucrats running it now. And pieces of the Arab Empire start to come off. If I remember correctly, the first piece comes off in 756. It's Spain. One of the Umayyads escaped the Abbasids. They massacred the Umayyads. They tried to kill all of them so there would be no rivals out there causing them problems. Well, one of them got away. He snuck through Egypt. He went across North Africa, he went to Spain, and in 756, 6 years after the Abbasid revolt, he pulls Spain out of the empire. And so the empire is already starting to come apart in 756. I think 727 is the next time a major piece comes out, and that's over in Persia. And little by little, the Arab Empire starts to disintegrate. Eventually, it will lose all of North Africa and Persia, and as it's shrinking, the Khalifa, the system where you had a person who was a religious and a political authority, is starting to become symbolic, and they're being replaced by wazirs. They're being replaced by ministers. And so there's actually now a secular leader who's running the show, and the Khalifa is becoming a symbolic leader who's mostly just confined to a palace in Baghdad and has no meaningful role other than to walk around the garden looking pretty. And by the time that happens, it also means that the person who has the best position symbolically to unify people has no political power. which is bad if you're trying to hold things together. I can't give you an exact date when the Arab Empire stops functioning, but it's pretty finished by 900. I've seen the year 833 used as well. I think you can have an argument about when that's happened. By the time the Buyids are running Baghdad, it's over, right? There's no two ways about it. The Buyids were Persians who had broken out Iraq and a huge chunk of Iran and were ruling it on their own. Then, of course, the reason that matters now is if there's going to be a European invasion down the road, there isn't an empire to stop it. Well, there will be, because I'm going to have to introduce another actor, and it's the Seljuks. In 1030.